My loves, my loves, my loves. Hello, how are you all? Now, lovely, lovely Monday morning. Here we go. Well, let's turn me down before we start. And terrific, terrific. Are we on? Morning, we're on. We're on. Marvellous. Hi, everyone. Maisie Daisy, hello my darling. Sharon, Michelle, Marianne, bonjour. Victoria, Maxine, Katie, morning. Sammy, Lauren P, Deborah, Debs, Elizabeth, Lee, out in Arizona, still middle of the night. Terry, Anna, Amber, Pamela, Maxine, AJ, BB, suddenly become his name. Sue, Alan, Gillian, Aaron, Maddie, Emma, my loves. Now, before we, Tracy, and I'm just going to read now. Before we go any further, I just want to say a huge thank you very much to all of you for your support and your lovely wishes about young George, Samantha, Dorothy, Sue, Ailish, I hope that's right, sorry, Darren. He's doing great. We had a couple of nights in hospital and a bit of a mini adventure when you're 3. Not so much when you're not 3. He's doing great. Thank you all very much indeed. And thank you, I'm going to say as well, to all the NHS and all the nurses and doctors up there at the hospital who looked after us. You're all amazing. We love you all. So thank you very much indeed. You're just the best. You're just the best. So he went up there again this morning for another check and having a look, and he's doing great. So everybody's happy. You hardly even know watching him dashing around. So everything is brilliant. So thank you all. Thank you very much indeed for all your messages as well. And this morning we got choreography. And again, apologies for last week. Last week was a disaster, wasn't it? With Wi-Fi and everything else. But this is a new week. New beginning, onwards and upwards. So let's do. Michelle, your mum's in hospital as well. I've been there for 2 weeks and looking after her as well. So well, I hope she's feeling better, Michelle. I hope she gets better soon. And you're right, NHS, all the guys and girls up there, terrific. You're amazing. Thank you so much. So choreography. Let's put a few bits together that we talked about this the other day. Well, the other day. And somebody asked a question a little while ago, how does this stuff go together? Well, good question. A massive thing for me when I was learning to dance was when I was young, not so long ago, and I couldn't ever dance outside of the routine that I was given. I'm a bit like that with tap dancing now, because I never really knew where one thing ended and the next thing began. It all just looked like a piece of choreography to me. That was the step from there to there. But in actual fact, it's all made up of little components, all joined together. So let's start with cha-cha. Let's, for example, cha-cha ballroom dancing. Let's start with cha-cha ballroom dancing. We'll come to that in a minute. Cha-cha and rumba. So we can sort of do 2 in 1 there, because a lot of the elements are very similar. So let's just have a little look at some of the choreography we've done. We've done forward and back basics, step, step, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha, just normal forward and back basic, and back, replace. If we're doing the rumba, it goes forward, replace, side, hip, back, replace, side, hip, forward, replace. So forward and back basics. And now we're doing a thing called the New York, which is, now as the lady does the natural opposite, you know that, don't you? Natural opposite flames. This stuff is sort of mirroring at the moment. We haven't got separate stuff. So, New York, we take what we call the inside leg, so the boy's left leg, girl's right leg, and we just sweep through into what we call promenade position. Step, replace, we're doing rumba for a second. Step, replace the other way, and step, replace, side. And in cha-cha-cha you go step, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, replace, cha-cha-cha. Now, if this is your first time joining us, this probably feels like I'm going thick and fast, and I sort of am a little bit. But if you want to go over any of this stuff, have a look at some of the old videos that we've done before, and it will all become clear, and then this will probably make a bit more sense. So there's the New York. We've got another variation called a hand-to-hand, which I always think is New York in reverse. So you go backwards, step with the left foot for the man, right foot for the lady, and step, replace, cha-cha-cha, step, replace, cha-cha-cha. That's another step. Rumba, you go step, replace, side, and step, replace, side. Now we have the spot turn. Now again, we go 2 steps, cha-cha-cha. So we go step over there. Do you remember we turn and we go, oh, yes, step, cha-cha-cha. For the rumba, it's step, same principle, step, and step to the side. Exactly the same principle, just no cha-cha-cha. For the lady, you're going to go with the left foot. You go step, step, cha-cha-cha. And the rumba, you go step, step, side. That's another variation. You can do a turn the other way, just use the other leg. Step, step, cha-cha-cha. So you can do a turn both ways. Now, what else we got? We've got those variations there. The fan and the hockey stick. So here we go. We've got the fan and hockey. For the boys, it's very simple. You go step, replace, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha. Those are the boy steps. Girls, you have a bit more complicated step. Now this is the first time where we're doing a step together, but we're not doing a mirroring of the same step. We've got different step patterns. So for the girl, you're going to go back, replace, cha-cha-cha. Now step across the boy. Step, step and turn, and you do your lock step backwards. Remember in cha-cha-cha? Lock step there. Now we do our close. Close, step forward, cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha. And then we did our hockey stick. Do you remember? We go to the left, turn, cha-cha-cha. Now, in the cha-cha-cha, we've got the sideways chassé for the cha-cha-cha. If you're doing the cha-cha-cha action sideways, it's a chassé. And cha-cha-cha. If you do it forwards and backwards, it's a lock step. Cha-cha-cha or cha-cha-cha. That's the rule. So there's no confusion there. When you go forwards and backwards, you do the lock step. When you go sideways, you do the chassé. Now let's just take those variations. I'll do that very quickly for ladies in rumba. Exactly the same, just fewer steps. So you go back, replace, side, forward, turn, back, close, forward, 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 turn, back. So exactly the same pattern, but just fewer steps. Boys, forward, replace, side, back, replace, side, forward, replace, side, back, forward, forwards. Slight adjustment at the end. Now, let's just go with that for a second. Those, we've got format basics, New York, hand-to-hand, spot turn, fan, hockey stick. Those are variations that we've learned over the weeks. You're marvellous. You've done very well, by the way. I know there's probably other bits, but we'll just stick with those for a second. Now, you can do as many of any of these variations as you want, essentially. I would suggest, for example, you go step, replace, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha to start, right? Now you can carry on with that, step, replace, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha, if you so wish. But you just can do 2, for example, and then swing into New York. So you go forward, replace, cha-cha, I'm the man, step, replace, cha-cha-cha, and I swing open, step, replace, cha-cha-cha. Now, again, that's the step. I'm now finished the step. I have the choice of either continuing with the step and doing another one, step, replace, cha-cha-cha, or I could perhaps go into a spot turn, step, step, cha-cha-cha. So I can end it or begin it whenever I like, once I've completed the step. Now we know what the step is. It's essentially step, step, cha-cha-cha. That's the step. Doesn't matter in what configuration you do it, that's the step. So let's start again. We go step, replace, cha-cha-cha, back, replace, cha-cha-cha. Let's just do 2 of those and we'll swing into New York. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha. And now I'm going to go the other way. step, replace. I'm going to repeat. I'm going to do 3 of these, step, because I like them, cha-cha. Now I'm going to do a spot turn. So now we go step, and we turn away from each other, step, cha-cha-cha. Now from here, I'm in basically my starting position. I could start again. I could go into our New York, hand to hand. So I swing backwards into a hand to hand. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha. Now, if I've got my right foot available, which means I could go straight into New York if I wanted to. I could swing open and do another hand to hand if I want to. I could even do a spot turn if I wanted to. Or I can combine a couple of steps and the lady does an underarm turn, so she does a spot turn, but I just step backwards. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha. So I turn her under the arm. And so as you see, things start to, you start to dictate what you want to do, depending on which foot you have available, really. But you must complete the set. What you can't do is sort of do something halfway through a step. So I can't go step, step here, and rather than do cha-cha-cha, just go into there. Because step, step. Well, you said you had left foot available and do what I like. So I can't suddenly go into New York from here. I've got to complete the whole step, cha-cha-cha. That's the variation. Whatever it is, any of those configurations, that's the variation. It's at that point I can do whatever I want next. I can continue or change variation. So let's do that again. Just putting those few figures together. So I'm going to go step, replace, cha-cha-cha. This is just a nice way to start. And cha-cha-cha. And I can go to New York, step, replace. I can just do one of those. Now do a spot turn. And now I could do something like a fan. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha, leader into fan. Cha-cha-cha. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha, hockey stick, cha-cha-cha. I'm now facing my partner. She's now facing me. I have my left foot available. So I'm now basically in starting position. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha. I'm in a slightly different direction in the room, but I can adjust that. And back, replace, cha-cha-cha. Here I can do, from here, I can do anything I want. I would suggest doing a forward step really. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha, maybe underarm turn there. Cha-cha-cha, you can go into a back, hand to hand. Step, replace, cha-cha-cha. Now we can do a spot turn this way. And cha-cha-cha. So as you see, the whole thing is determined by which foot you have available at the time that you've finished the figure you're dancing completely. Comprendez-vous? Let's do my lace up. And once you've sort of got that, the world becomes your oyster, really. Now, it seems like that could be a bit confusing, but it's not really. Let's have let's have a look. Tam's in pain. How are you, my love? It's lovely to, thank you so much. It's lovely to be back. I'm loving all of this. I miss it when I don't do it. Michelle got front row at Wolverhampton. Well done, kid. No buffering here, Frankie. Good man. Someone in need of a ballroom question. Fire away, Frankie. Norma, morning, my love. Don't worry about being a bit late. Frankie, ask your ballroom question. Pamela, front row, Wolverhampton as well. Bless you. Let's have a look at this. Lee, where do I come up with the inspiration for the choreography? Well, it's really whatever you feel. Why is the forward lock for the man not used? In what dance you're talking about there, Frankie? You're talking about the cha-cha, or you're talking about ballroom dance? The inspiration really it's whatever you're feeling really. Music can sort of dictates everything really. Whatever music you're dancing to, when you're just dancing socially like this, it's whatever you feel really. If you're doing some sort of performance really, the music dictates everything, and then you just sort of go with what you're feeling really in the music, and whatever the music dictates is you do something, some sort of movement that reflects what's going on in the music and what's going on with sort of you really. at that moment in time. That sounds a bit deep, doesn't it? I don't mean it in sort of an emotional way, but it's sort of that, because I find a lot of times really with choreography, it sort of depends on who I'm dancing with as well. What I have found in my life, and it's an absolute given, is one size does not fit all. And what piece of choreography might work with this person doesn't necessarily work with it. It could be, you know, they could both be wonderful dancers, but this particular person oh no, I don't feel like I'm feeling a bit more of this. This person has so I'll go in that direction as opposed to that. And that I find is really sort of important, is to know who you're dancing with. Ask me your question again, Frankie, about the forward lock not used. Because I don't know what you're referring to there, because we do use it a lot, the forward lock. If you're talking about ballroom dancing, quick step is done all over the place. Cha-cha-cha, we do it all over the place. So let me do that. The forward lock for the leader is not used in the waltz due to the interpretation, but why? Lockstep isn't really a variation for waltz. It's not because how can I explain that? You can do a waltz, but it's really, you can do a lock in the waltz, but it's just it will be coming out of something. For example, there's a variation that we might do. We might go back, side, cross. I wouldn't really go 1, 2, 3. Just do a forward lock in waltz. It's a quick step variation, really, the lock step, to be honest with you. The lock step came from the quick step. It's used in the Viennese waltz, obviously for a left turn, and you'd use it in the English waltz, or the slow waltz, for a left turn, because it allows the lady to make an extra eighth of turn by crossing her feet as opposed to closing her feet. Same principle applies in the Viennese waltz. So that's what it would be there for, but you wouldn't do a forward lock in waltz. You wouldn't. You do what you like. Of course, we're dancing. It wouldn't be a thing to do, really, because essentially you're just going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you'd close your feet in waltz, because it's the waltz. That's what the waltz is. And two, it's slightly more elegant in the waltz just to close your feet than to cross your feet in a forward 2, 3, 1. It doesn't have the same sort of lilting action that you would get in just the normal closing of feet action in the waltz. You get a better rise and fall through the feet by just closing your feet as opposed to doing a forward lock. You might find it in a technique somewhere for the waltz, but it's not one I've ever used, not one I've ever known anybody teach, incidentally, unless you're doing it turning. You're starting backwards and ending forwards, and you need the extra eighth of turn for the lady. So that's why you do that. But they are. I hope that's sort of made sense. Doesn't flow around the room like the waltz. The only choreography about who and near you deciding the steps to do. No, Alan, the cha-cha doesn't go around the room too much, but that's the joy of it. Maybe a side cross and syncopation, looks like a forward lock, but we call it not forward lock. Frankie, I'll translate that. Yes, invariably you'd be talking about a side cross here, 3, and you wouldn't want to go. You wouldn't want to syncopate it 1, 2, and 3, because you get a little bit of and that's not really the waltz. So you'd want to really just do it a 1, 2, 3 count. You might syncopate what comes in front. You might syncopate what comes after. But the waltz part, the lock part there would be a just normal ballroom timing, 1, 2, 3, and it would be side. We call it a side lock, but really, essentially, you start backwards and end forwards. There. So I hope that's clear. Let's have a look. Maddie, yeah, we'll do that. Well, let's make that work. I did one of the old American Smooth class yesterday, Michelle. You legend. Well done, you. Let's have a look. They are, Lee. Yeah, absolutely right. it does look a bit odd. And also, I know with ballroom and Latin American dancing the same, really. Everything is a bit cross-pollination. Everything is taken from one thing to one dance to another. So it's only in its sort of, not basic form, but a sort of original traditional form that the dance maintains its sort of real identity. Once we start getting into sort of competition world or competitive world or advanced figures, you'll start seeing things floating across. And you'll, oh, my tummy was rumbling then. And then the danger of that, of course, is that the dance looks a bit similar to the other dance. If you turn the music off, you're not quite sure what's being danced. You'll find in waltz that people don't really close their feet like they used to. Everything's sort of crossing and passing, and I've seen people do natural turns with the feet passing, open natural turns they call them, which is lovely. But you want to see a bit of waltz somewhere at some stage, I'm sure. I mean, it's the feel of the dance and the music, really. So you do what you like, but in its sort of more traditional form, you'll see a bit more of that situation where you'll turn the music off, and then you can still sort of go, oh, they're doing a waltz, because you can see the correct action in the feet and the closing and stuff. But everything has its beauty. I don't mind. Do what you like, really, as long as it looks like what you're supposed to be doing. Latin's the same. I mean, the dances, cha-cha, samba, paso, choreographically can be very similar. Rumba, I mean, the rumba is obviously different because it's much slower, but the other dances there can be, and the paso has a different style, but choreographically there's a lot of things that cross over. Jive is obviously the jive. So it's a bit like the two dances we're doing here, rumba and cha-cha. You can see that a lot of the figures, these are just the basic figures, do cross over, and so you can use both figures. But that's actually lovely because you sort of get two dances in one. So, any more questions about any of that? I love doing these questions whilst we're dancing. This is good. What is your favourite ballroom dance? So my favourite ballroom dance is the slow foxtrot. Always has been. I love it. I love it because I love the music. What's the most complicated routine I've ever done, Julie? Do you know, the most complicated routines I've ever done is something that's been given to me by somebody else. That's essentially the most complicated routine I've ever done. It's sort of easy to do your own stuff. That's why I don't do it too much, unless I need something sort of immediately. I like doing stuff, other people's choreography, because I feel like I'm pushing myself, I'm growing. And I'm sort of, it still keeps the old brain going and the body working, because you've got to, it's harder to do somebody else's choreography. So there's been a lot of routines I've done over the years that have been really complicated. What was I going to say? Hang on. Oh, this is one. Gillian, is it bad form to mirror figures left, then you right before moving on? Just find it easy to remember. No, it's not bad form to mirror. Do you mean to repeat? Go step, step, cha cha cha, carry on, and cha cha cha, step, step, cha cha cha. That's not bad form. That would be normal in actual fact. You would probably do that. You wouldn't invariably do. Certainly not at a sort of a basic level. You wouldn't do one figure of something. You go step. So for example, I remember one of my first ever routines. We did 4 of these. Cha cha cha, step, step, cha cha cha. I did 3 of these. Cha cha cha, step, step, cha cha cha, step, step. Then I did a turn. Step, step, cha cha cha, and back the other way. I did 3 of these. Step, step, cha cha, step, step, cha cha, and then I did under and turn. Step, step, cha cha cha. So one, it's easy to remember, but 2, you can sort of get into it a bit more. Doing 1 of something is sometimes it feels like it's over too quick. So you go step, step, cha cha cha, turn, turn, cha cha cha, repeat, and cha cha cha. That's quite fun to do. Cha cha cha, back. So there's nothing to say you can't, do a little thing, repeat it again. Sometimes, a teacher once told me, if you do a little variation that's an absolute beauty, he said, do it twice, because somebody might have missed it the first time. I think that's a lovely thing to think about. Can you go over the lady steps, please, Anton, Cynthia? Yes, I can. How do I cope with somebody who's a lot taller than me? Well, luckily for me, being a fella, I don't get many tall ladies. Emma was tall. Erin's tall. What's her name? Jerry Hall. Tall. You can only dance your height, as the expression goes. You just dance as tall as you can be, and you dance your normal height, and then you you go from there, really. For a lady, just dance your height. It's quite nice to have a taller man here like this, because you can follow his body if he does it nicely. You can follow his body shape, where he's going to by turning the body, it sort of indicates to the lady where you want to go next. So, but you must dance your own height, whether you're the tall person or the shorter one. If you're the shorter one, don't try and stretch up. If you're the taller one, don't go down. Dance your own height and just adjust from the hands. This is easy because you just stay in front of each other, but for ballroom dancers, you just, not the elbows, don't drop the elbows, you need the elbows up here, but you can adjust the hands to where you want them to go. But you must just dance your own height. You are what you are. Perfect in every possible way. Cynthia, lady steps. So we go step, step, cha, cha, cha. These are the forward and back basics. Cha, cha, cha. These are the New Yorks. And cha, cha, one the other way. Step, step, cha, cha, cha. Step. There you go. Now we do our spot turns. You go step, step, cha, cha, cha. These are the hand to hands that we did. And cha, cha, cha. Cha, cha, cha. Here you go. Another turn, you might go under the arm. Step, step, cha, cha, cha. Then you go into the fan. Cha, cha, cha. Step, step. There's a lock step. Cha, cha, cha. Close, forward, forward, cross, forward, over there. Step, turn, don't move. And then you go back, cross, back. And that is the fan and hockey stick. So there you go, and take the cha-cha-cha action out, cha-cha-cha, and just do a side step, and all of that you do in rumba. Well done everyone, that was brilliant. I love this, I've missed this. I've got to tell you, I've missed this. This is great. Thank you all very much indeed. Cynthia, pleasure, well done you. I will see you all. I will see you all at 6 if you can make it, and I'm looking forward to that. We're all getting a bit hot and sweaty together. Thank you very much indeed. You're all gorgeous. Much love. Enjoy the rest of the day. Sun's out, guns out. Much love.